I remember my grandmother's skirt and hiding under it when we would dry the figs. I remember the sweet yellow peaches and the tiny bitter cherries. I remember the olive trees. This place used to be full of life, full of famines that lived from the land. It was the belly that fed all central Dalmatia. The war and mass tourism changed a lot of things around here, and now it is mostly abandoned. Nowadays the food comes in trucks, not from the ground. The tiny cherries and the sweet yellow peaches are to be found only in a few lucky gardens. My name is Irena, and I came back to find the forgotten trees of my childhood. Terra Mira is a center for regeneration. Here we want to plant the beginnings of a native fruit forest. The knowledge is still present and we are catching it just like a sweet ripe fig before it's gone, to preserve it. It is about creating a healthy community, regenerating not only the land, but also the village, bringing life back to this place. After years of teaching and studying sustainability worldwide, I wanted to walk the talk. I realized that the richness of our biodiversity is disappearing from beneath our feet. That is why we are planting these trees and creating a seed bank. I invite you to be part of this. Plant a tree with us and come to taste the fruits. Bring your ideas for workshops, residencies, working actions. Become a creator in this story. We will provide the fertile soil. Each tree is a chance. Just like every journey begins with a single step, the transformation of an entire community begins with a single person and their vision. My name is Irena. I'm a mother, sister, daughter, a scholar, and researcher. At the peak of my academic career, I made a life-changing decision to return to my native Croatia and apply the principles of regenerative development that I had taught at universities around the world. It was then that the vision of Terra Mira was born. Terra Mira is not only my home, but also a center for regeneration and human potential. It's a place where we sow the seeds, both literally and figuratively, of a thriving future community, one that lives in harmony with the land and all life through food production, education, art, culture, and sustainable tourism. Terra Mira stands as a symbol of resilience and a renewal. It was built with the help of international volunteers and local artisans in an area that had been ravaged by war. Embodying the spirit of regeneration, we reuse the stones from the ruins of an older home. Join us on the Regenerate Europe platform, where we can channel the collective efforts of change makers to make Croatia and Europe a fully regenerative society by the year 2040. Seeds for generations in Croatia, where I originally come from, they have given the livelihood and the power to my people. And my grandmother, who only lived from the land, she was planting these seeds and growing olive trees and fig trees and the vegetable garden.
And then I took off to the world, have become a professor, big professor on sustainability. And then I realized, as it shows in video, but I'm only talking the walk and I'm not walking the talk. So I decided to come back to my home country to honor my grandmother and my grandmother's land, where I could see so many unsustainable practices around the world, and what could I do to honor the love that she had for the land and what the land can give us. So I'm using this as a very powerful reminder how important seeds are for our sustenance. But also I would like to use their symbolic power. And then we go on to the second part of my story and my travels around the world, when I met Dr. Vandana Shiva in Delhi in her office, surrounded by all her books and amazing research library. And we had such an inspiration talk, and I knew her from my PhD study on ecofeminism and so on, and been always inspired by her work. And I was doing a lot of my own activist work and social projects also in India, and when I lived in New Zealand, and later when I was in Netherlands and teaching in Wageningen University. And after that talk, she recommended we go to her organic cafe within the craft market in New Delhi, run by Navdanya, her organization to promote of the farmers to promote the seeds and organic produce. And me and my daughter were there, and we had a lovely meal of so-called forgotten crops. And that was, very powerful to see this in the cafe. There were tables with the glass on the top, and underneath you could see all of those little seeds of those crops. And we know Vandana does this in order to promote biodiversity and so on. So she planted a strong seed in my mind. Oh my God, this is such a powerful way to educate people, especially in the urban environment. So that was 2015. In that same year, we were also organizing the Subversive Festival in Zagreb, decided to invite her to come to speak there. And in the same year, I think Regeneration International was founded in June. And then we had in November COP21 in Paris. My daughter went there, and Regeneration International was launched at that event. And my daughter met all these amazing heroes and heroines of regeneration movement, Rob Hopkins, unfortunately now our late Ronnie Cummins, and Andrew and Andre and everyone else. So we began with this project in the coastal town nearby Terramira, and near the island where I originally come from. And we decided to set up an organic bistro, very much similar like the model of Vandana's cafe in Delhi, where we wanted to provide vegetarian organic produce directly from the farm to the table. At that time, that concept was very alien in Croatia, still very, although we are only talking about that 8 years ago, but we were really pioneers in that. And we had educational space above the bistro. It was a social enterprise, and we really struggled with the sources of local produce. And then we found this beautiful area of Terramira in this abandoned village that was affected by the war, the civil war between Serbs and Croats in the 1990s. So this village used to be over 700 people, mostly farmers who were actually feeding most of the region. And they all left to the urban centers, left at the time of the war. And so we bought the land. We inherited some mostly almond and olive trees for producing cold pressed olive oil, really good quality organic olive oil. But we wanted to bring in other fruit trees, the figs and peaches and cherries and apricots and so on. As we know, that's the key to regenerative agriculture. However, the next summer after planting, we realized and I have to stress here that before 1990, we actually didn't have a chemical industrial agriculture, because we were as you know, it was a communist Yugoslavia. We didn't belong to Eastern Bloc, Soviet Union bloc, nor to Western Bloc. So we didn't have the import from the industrial food corporations with hybrid seeds and pesticides. So we actually didn't call it organic back then, but it was by default, it was organic. But unfortunately, with opening up to the global markets, we now get all this poisons and Roundup, and and because tourism has come more and more massively, a lot of people are not doing the land. So when they do olive trees or figs or whatever, they are just going with the easy way of putting the glyphosate under the trees, so they don't need to mulch and do all of the land work. It's just easier, and then it kills all of the grass and the weed. And people are really not aware how harmful that is for our human health. So that's one of our purposes here, to really create that awareness. And I can attest that is now really becoming more and more apparent that this is what is important to take into account, and people are taking care more of their land because they realize they affect their own health, not just selling it to others, but they drink this, eat this olive oil and so on. So at that time, when we also kind of got this international volunteers team, they were also getting close to our local shepherds. We have a small community, mostly older people who are still tending their animals, sheep and chicken and geese, and they give us their natural compost for the trees, and you can see it in one of those videos you're going to show, how that has been such a beautiful symbiosis, even though the local community doesn't speak much of English, but international people, young people learning from locals. And so I really see Terra Mira being that important catalyst of bringing, the world to the local, and the locals bringing them closer to the world. So in these efforts, we are doing some more of that organizational, collective kind of projects that can give them more visibility and more reaffirmation, because I find that now even some younger people, they produce beautiful goat cheese and beautiful gems, and there are some local artisans who make a beautiful iron fences, and there's a lot of local knowledge, but they think, oh, that doesn't give us a livelihood anymore, no one cares, it's easy to go to supermarkets and so on. So I'm now showing this, that by bringing international people, we also rent this house over the summer. We sell the local produce to visitors. So we're reaffirming local people that what they do, we cannot lose, but only produce more and do better and be more integrated. So to that objective, we have two now projects coming up. The one that I want to start is with the women's cooperative, where I want to integrate some of those small food producers who don't have a time nor energy, no skills to sell or market, or to really reach the markets and the possibility to sell that easier. So in the cooperative, we will integrate them under Terra Mira brand, and want to encourage them that they start to focus on even more organized food production, of course, organic food production. So that's one of the of our also collective impact that Terra Mira does. Another one which is very exciting, and now it's just about to begin in collaboration with the county. I've been approached by the deputy mayor of county in relation to regenerative tourism strategy that I have developed for the nearby coastal town of Šibenik, because that's also one of the kind of work I do, advising public sector on importance of regeneration. So last year I developed regenerative tourism, first of that kind in Croatia. making this central piece of the strategy. There is no regenerative tourism without regenerative organic food. And when you look at it, the shocking facts that actually Croatia imports 80% of their food needs. That's, for me, I just can't accept that. We have so much of abandoned land. I can see this in the, I mean, this is very fertile valley, and the whole of the region used to be so full of agricultural produce that now we just import food from Europe and the rest of the world and not producing our own. And when you think that tourism is one of our biggest industries, where we receive more than 20 million international visitors, I mean, hello, you have to feed these people with your own local food. So you see the power of regeneration already there. It's just by connecting tourism that is huge in Croatia with regenerating our food, local food supply, organic, regenerative, we can totally regenerate really Croatia to that end. So now Deputy Mayor wants me to pilot a project here at the level of this region and the county, that we create Regenerate Croatia brand, where we would identify the best practice examples, organic produce, to see the needs of those farmers who don't necessarily have the certificate, but they do organic, so that we really connect them to identify what local farmers need, teach them on the design and all of that, and how it can really feed into this awareness of the importance of regenerative food, and then connect it to the hospitality sector and the tourism sector. So that is sort of one of the visions that we now have in the near future, hopefully with having a local distribution center where the farmers could bring their food, and where they could sell it all, and they could be distributed then to supermarkets and hotels and so on. So that leads me to the final aspect of my work here, which is quite a big one, I know. I just launched it in April this year, gathering a kickoff event of a platform called Regenerate Europe, where I invited successful social entrepreneurs and food producers from Croatia, from Portugal, some of the experts from Netherlands, and we wanted to cover multi-sectors, not just the food production and agriculture, but also urban design and education, and of course in tourism and travel, and also personal regeneration, because that's very important. We know that a lot of activists burn out in their efforts, and how it is important to take care of our own personal well-being, and then how we take this to the communal level and to the planetary level. So this event proved to be very successful. We did it in Split in collaboration with Aspira College. We gathered around 60-70 people. Now we have the platform. It resonated so much within the community and the delegates, and we decided now to do the second one in 2024. We are only now working on it, on the program and how we're going to go about it. We will do it probably in this region because I'm close to the National Park Krka, which is also an amazing scenic region. So I might do it in collaboration with the National Park Krka. So I use this opportunity to invite all our beautiful regeneration community, international global community, to join us at this event, so that we can see how we can promote further and create greater visibility for our movement that we so strongly believe in. So what I can only say, I started with the power of seeds, and I can attest this with my very rich life of traveling all around the world, educating, seeing so much of my students doing some amazing projects and initiatives around the world, because I also planted the seeds of change in their minds, how important it is to believe in the power of seeds symbolically and literally, physically, because this is where from which we can create more beautiful world that our hearts know it is possible, to quote Charles Eisenstein in his beautiful book. So to create the world that works for all. So I invite everyone to plant as much as you can beautiful trees and organic gardens and join our regeneration movement. Let's do it for the sake of our children and for the sake of this beautiful planet. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on behalf of Terra Mira, which, by the way, I didn't forget to say, Terra Mira stands for the land of peace. Mir in Croatian means peace, and Terra is the land. And that's the symbol of this project, to be in the post-war conflict area and to create such a project that gives the hope for more, positive future where people can live in peace and harmony. Thank you.
Meni je svaki dan kad vidim da sam ostala živa, da mi Bog podario, ja sam sretna. Kažem, hvala ti Bože što si mi dao i ovaj dan da ga živim. Mi smo naučili da radimo teške poslove i da se borimo. Ali ja sam opet sretna što sam živa i što mogu da radim. Da obavljam posao, da idem, da krećem se, u tome sam sretna. Ajde! Ajde, Vikice, ajde! Ajde, tako, ludovanta. Ovo se jede.
You can eat.
Aha. Ovo je zdravo. Za mene znači ljubav biti ovako sretan i zadovoljan. I da smo obodvoje živi i naša djeca. To je za mene nešto najljepše u životu.